New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Brz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And good morning, dear ones. Reverend Robert over here.
Rev Z right here.
And we're a couple of ministers talking shit. And this happens every Friday morning here on the New Thought Media Network, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We like to get the weekend started with a whole load of, now we like to talk about whatever come to mind, whatever's up in the world, whatever we feel like we want to add a little more of a spiritual perspective to. And of course, folks, we would love to have you join us in the conversation. If you're watching live, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section and we'll do our best to include you in the conversation if appropriate. And if you're watching this on a rebroadcast at another time, hey, feel free to do the same. And one of us will connect and get back with you and respond to that. You're also more than willing to send us an email at ministertalk@ntmedia.org if you have ideas for this program, people you'd like to see on this program, whatever it may be. All right. So here we are, Z, the last Friday in August.
Yes.
Summer just seems to be... Now, I know summer isn't over yet, folks. We got a few more weeks of summer left, but only a few. So end of August, if your kids aren't back in school yet, well, then you don't live in Colorado, that's for sure. I think every school district's finally back in now here.
Yeah, and that's why you see me kind of sitting in the dark, because I'm in Missouri, dropping my son off to college, and in a hotel room.
In a hotel room, exactly. So, Z, you get to do this show from some of the most interesting places, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping it stops real soon.
I understand that too. Z's got college kids. I got high school kids. I hope it stops real soon too. I'm with you there. So, and hey, folks, first thing up today, I think we would be a little remiss if we didn't say good morning and send a prayer request, send a prayer and some good vibes all the way over to Afghanistan. If you're following the news, you know that what's happening in Kabul is a mess. What's happening at the airport is a mess. And we're not going to sit here and blame anybody for it, are we, Z?
No, because we're way beyond that. Right now, of course, we will see tons and tons of Monday morning quarterbackers talking about this, that, and the other. But the thing now is, stop talking. I mean, it kills me. We get on TV in these press conferences and talk. And we have the leaders of different things, spill out all this information to these reporters and to everybody. And if I'm listening, if I'm trying to do harm, I'm getting all kind of innuendos and insights into what's going on. Right. And it's like, okay, transparency goes so far. I mean, if we're in a critical mission and people's lives and property and stuff is at stake, and you're not directly involved, and you finna print something and start talking about who did what and why they did, you can Monday morning quarterback after the game is over. Let's get the people out. Let's save the lives. Let's make the thing as safe as possible. I mean, we already know it's a dangerous situation. Why create some crazy situation by just wanting to, grandize your community, your not your community. I'm sorry, your coverage of the thing. It's just I don't know. To me, it seems odd.
Yeah. I think that's a byproduct of this 24-hour news cycle, right? Is we don't even wait till Monday morning to be a Monday morning quarterback anymore. We're right. People are right. Oh, they shouldn't be doing this. Somebody just got off. And, yesterday was a really, from my understanding, from what I see, it was a very strange, probably horrific day for
Yeah.
many that um, are in a very unique situation. We don't see the end of a war very often, right? See,
No,
it's not
no.
very often that we actually see a major superpower just okay. The day is here, and we're catch you
We're out.
later. uh, so we're all in a place. Many of us are in, and especially in the Afghani people. They haven't known. So many of them have not known a life without war.
Mm-mm.
That
Mm-mm. Big.
that yeah.
Well, yeah. Because you think about it, right? The wars in Afghanistan started back in mid 70s, right? 77, 78, 76 with the Russians. And that is when we went in to support the Afghans at that time
Mm-hmm.
to battle and push Russia out. We gave them guns, we gave them training, we did all of that. And then that turned into uh, Osama bin Laden's group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we fought them, and now we're back to square one again. And it's like at some point, we kind of have to figure this out, right? I mean, those people have been in war for over, 40 years.
Decades and decades and decades, exactly. And folks, we we can see these things as they happen. Um, I had a point here, sorry, and I know you got interrupted, Z, and it knocked my train of thought off. So, but so these folks have been brought up in war. They would really
Yes.
like to. I fully believe what we see is they would like to experience peace. And here's the point that I did want to make. So if you're out on the internet this week, folks, or this weekend, and you see these memes that try to quote remind you that the CIA created the Taliban, right? That we secretly went over there and started the Taliban. No, we didn't. Right? All these stories, they get twisted around, but Z's right on target. We went over to help the Afghani people that were being invaded by Russia and asked for help. And we're asking the world population for help to now.
Mm-hmm.
Did a faction of those people take some of what we did, what we gave in training, and did it fall into, quote, the wrong hands? It fell into hands. I'm not going to say any of it's wrong. I may not like what's happening to the people, but I have to let the politics play out. It is not my job, and I'm not trained to offer perspective talking points to be on CNN for when it comes to this, but we are qualified to bring a spiritual perspective. And what I see countless people calling out for freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
And the fact of the matter is that, and it might be tough to hear, we can't be the police of the world.
right.
We've played that role in the past, but now we can't. Not to at least not to the extent we've done it before, and it it just opens us up for all kind of ridicule, death, and destruction like this. I mean, last heard was 145 people killed, and At least 11 of those, I think, were U.S. soldiers, and those numbers will probably still come in because I don't know how many were injured. Um, so, we send some prayers definitely to that whole situation, the people, the soldiers, the everyone, that they get out as safely as possible with, no more deaths.
Right. Right. We say a lot on this program, and Z, you're usually the guy that says it. Life is prime,
Right.
and whatever is happening, our job is to be in that place, I believe, of being absolutely uber conscious of that life is prime, that things are working out, that no one else need die for this to progress. And if we have the ability or a way to take an action, we do. If
Yeah.
we don't have a way to take an action, we don't have to go running out and do something. I don't have to book a flight to Afghanistan to try to go over there and help keep order, because that ain't my bailiwick. That's not where I'm trained. But you're darn right, I'm going to sit in prayer on a daily basis for everyone there, for the situation. I'm going to call my senators and my congressmen and let them know my feelings on the matter, and I'm going to be involved as I can. Right. All
Yeah.
right. See, if we stay here all day, we're going to end up in Afghanistan for 20 years, and that seems to be what happens to governments that go there. So, so let's get somewhere else, and trust that everybody out there will do their prayer work on this issue.
Yes.
The other thing we
Well,
want, well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, the place we're going after this is not much better when we look at the uh, climate change and where that's going. Is like, what are we doing with this environment that we're in, and how are we going to get better?
Right, folks. We've been follow if you're not following some of what's going on in this regard, you're probably just not paying attention, so you're most likely not watching this program either. So if you're watching this program, you're probably paying attention to the fact, once again, the planet's on fire. And it kind of got lost in the last year and a half, but the planet was on fire in February of 2019 too. If you remember back, Australia,
Right.
or I'm sorry, February 2020, Australia we were having major. Now it's the U.S. The West Coast is almost always there's almost year round anymore. Even in the depths of winter, there are still fires that burn because they didn't get put out from the year before. Across the planet, this is picking up more and more and more and more and more. Right now, Siberia and is in being decimated by fire. Now, we don't hear about those things because there's nothing up there but a bunch of land. Uh, we hear about things like the Caldor fire in California because it's about to burn the casinos in Lake Tahoe.
Right. Right. Right.
Interestingly enough,
140,000 acres burned.
140,000 acres on the Caldor fire. Now, this is just one of a whole lot of fires out there right now. I do know a number of bands and musical artists have moved upcoming concerts from Tahoe area to other areas of California because of this. So this isn't just a little, oh yeah, it's burning out in the wildlands. The Caldor fire's got 100 and something. And what did we say we saw in the stats? How many?
140K, 200, and I think it was 213 acres, only 12% contained.
Yeah.
And then you got the Dixie Fire, which is 750,000 acres. It's 45% contained.
This is, again, the place we need to be putting our prayer work, folks, to become aware that the climate has changed. I don't even want to call it climate shift anymore because the shift has hit the fan, as it were, in this regard. Um, have we reached the point of no return, Z?
I saw a program the other day, and this one scientist representing a group of scientists said it's we're close. We're close. I mean, we're just talking fire. We haven't talking about Ida. Already we're up to I in the hurricane storms. That's scheduled to hit in the Gulf around Louisiana, somewhere around there, maybe Sunday, Monday. We just had Henri that just went up the East Coast, up New York and Tennessee, and dumped tons of water and flooding, and they're coming. I mean, there's two more from last I looked. There's two more out there in the Caribbean that's looking to form soon.
Yeah, they're sitting there like, oh, my turn. You ready? You got it? I've never been a surfer, but it looks like a bunch of guys sitting on a surf line up waiting to hit the wave, right? Like, who's going to drop in next? And I joke, but this is real, folks. This is what we were warned about when we were kids. And I do remember those warnings 20, 30 years ago, that we got to make those changes. And what we're going to do, again, this is one of those places. This one's not so hard to get involved, though. This one's an easier thing to get involved and to be part of the solution. We've got reduce, reuse, recycle is still the 3 R's of the world are still valid in my book.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, this whole idea of freedom and ignoring the science and not being present by just we don't need a whole lot of science to look at the surroundings of how people are living and the changes of the environment, and to realize something's happening. Now we can pay tiddlywinks on how you want to classify it, but the fact of the matter is,
right,
when you start getting 100 degrees in Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, up in Vancouver, Canada, something's off.
I talk on a lot of shows, so I don't remember if it was this one or not, but we saw rain at the top of the Greenland ice sheet for the first time in known history. And we've seen temperatures above freezing at the top of the Greenland ice sheet a couple other times this decade, but this is only the first time that we know of it's ever rained. Rain. I don't think there's any more of an indicator that the temperature on the planet is changing.
And rain.
And I forget the name of the movie, right? But this all accelerates. So here's all this, especially the climate. This is a self-feeding destructive cycle, because when one thing like that happens, a lot of rain, and it sounds like, oh, okay, it rained. Yeah, it rained. But do you know what rain does to an ice sheet? It melts it. So you got this warm rain falling out of the sky. It's melting more ice. We're putting so much more cold, fresh water into the ocean that is not supposed to be fresh water. They're supposed to be salinated. It's supposed to be warmer. We're putting all this cold water, fresh water into the ocean in this regard. This is what's happening. And that's going to change things. There's no question about it. None of us will be here really to see it all. But if we don't admit and don't see that if we don't admit we're seeing the beginning of it, we're just sticking our head in the sand.
Well, yeah, and we have to take that. I think the approach of Native Americans. Some of the Native Americans say, when I make decisions, I do it with 7 generations in mind.
Right.
Because we won't see it, but our grandkids or our great grandkids or our great great grandkids, that's just 3. We ain't even have to go to 7 to see the devastation that we're causing.
Yep. And what I also love about Native American and most indigenous peoples that I've had the pleasure to study is the Earth is a part of the family. The planet is a living member of the tribe, and everyone in the tribe knows they are tasked with taking care of Mother Earth.
Yes.
Right, every single person knows if life is prime, well, we don't get life without planet Earth. So we've got to be an expression of no. It's well, I just see a comment here from one of our friends, Wayne. Right, do no harm. Yes, Wayne, that's where it starts. But I'm afraid we're beyond just do no harm. We actually have. I think the time is now for more true activism, climate activism, getting active. Now that doesn't mean that you're out marching in the streets or throwing rocks through Suncor's windows or any of that kind of crap. No, it's about envisioning a new path and envisioning a new way. Here's now I know why I heard that story so many times this week. There's a story going on in Colorado here that's getting a lot of play because Colorado Springs is retiring their last coal-fired electric plant.
Wow.
And they've got a little bit of coal left, and they're in the process. When that coal is done, it's done, and they're not gonna shutter the plant. They're gonna move the plant over to natural gas, very plentiful here in Colorado, better, cheaper, and an intermediate step for the plant. Then they're going to transfer the plant over to wind and solar so they can decommission the plant. Or they're going to switch their supply to wind and solar so they can decommission this plant. But we're seeing, right, that's a step. That's a local community making a step. And the other thing that I keep hearing and I want to remember is we don't get to vote for a third-party president unless we've been voting for third-party candidates down ticket. Now, whatever side of the spectrum you're on, this isn't about politics. This is about change. If things are going to change at the national, global level, they're going to have to start changing at the state and local level first.
Yeah.
So a local municipality shutting down a coal-fired electric plant is good. It's not federally mandated. There's nobody saying we're going to come down there and fine you if you don't. But this is a city that's saying we're going to do this because we recognize this is a step we can take.
Right. And it's like that statement that says, think globally, but act locally.
Yes.
So we're thinking about the globe, but we can only do what we can do. So we act locally. We get involved. We, ask the questions. We try to push the needle so that a good conversation, not these conversations where we're, just trying to prove a point or go back and forth with a politician or whatever. The point is, how do we come up with solutions to problems that we know? I listened to a program the other day on one of the founders, one of the prime persons in the SETI project, the Search for Intelligence. She was the person that was portrayed in the movie Contact by Jodie Foster. And she made this statement. She said that, this earth is finite. And if we can't figure out how to support it, we will need some fleet of ships to get us off of here, or at some point in time, this will end. And if we are so-called the only intelligence in the universe, that's a whole nother conversation. When this planet goes, as far as we know, that will be it in terms of intelligent consciousness in the universe, if you believe that.
Yes. We're Earth supremacists. There we go. But not really, because we don't really know, right? But
Yeah.
then again, maybe we do know. All right, yeah, let's not go down the alien highway today. We'll do that in another show, folks. But it's part of what I love about being with you every Friday, Z, is number one, there's nobody telling us what to talk about or any of that, but we generally find that way to say, hey, we see these things. We know you folks out there watching that you see these things going on. In a philosophy that teaches it's all good, it is sometimes very, very difficult to look at anything and say, except that. It's all good, except that over there. So for me, the distinction I make is the event, is the experiences, whatever it is we're talking about, is it doing good to bring more life? Is it doing good to propel people forward? Or is it holding people back? Is it dragging people back? If your day is spent posting on Facebook, trying to wake everybody up to the fact that the climate is changing, that's not really the work that needs to be done. Because the people that are asleep, they're not the ones that are going to be on the forefront. What we need to do is support the people that are on the forefront, support the people that are making a difference, that are changing a needle. We can do that through donations. We can do that through sharing their media. We can go, but we want to make sure, I believe, to go through to really look at things and say, would sharing what I'm about to share hurt anybody? And if the answer is yes, take another tack on how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Let's post what promotes life. Let's promote the good news. Let's promote the good stories. Let's take these questioning what in the world is going on type stories and dig in and look for the spiritual principle, the spiritual truth at the heart of it.
Right. And one thing I think the intent, if you will, of our program here is to plant some seeds to begin the conversations.
Yeah.
Not with people who necessarily think the way you do or believe the way you do, but with someone else who's amenable and open to growth and understanding life as it is, and how do we make it better, and understand, as you said earlier, it's prime. So how do we begin to work so that we know there will always be challenges, but how do we work to minimize and mitigate the ones that will eventually, if we're not careful, destroy life?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Linda Plasters chimes in. It was the Drake power plant. Thanks for reminding me on the name there, Linda. Everybody in Colorado heard that story, I think, in the last 2 days. Or most people, because I think most people in Colorado are really, really happy and really proud of that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, we're about running out of time for our program today. And we do like to leave with that reminder that life is prime. That there is a power for good in this universe, and we all have the ability to use that power for good. And I believe that when we set a good intention in motion by the powers of the universe, it has to come into form. It has to come into demonstration. And that's what we're doing with every post, with every comment, with every phone call, with every tweet, with everything. How am I bringing a bit more of the good to the equation? Here on New Thought Media Network, we do that through prayer. We do that through meditation. We do it through talk shows like this. And like Z's saying, we do it not to just complain about this stuff, but to bring the awareness up so that a seed may be planted, and somewhere someone is going to see this and say, yeah, I know what I don't know how and I don't know why, but I now know what is mine to do in this situation. We won't tell you what it is, but we're going to invite you to explore what it might be.
Yes, and until we can begin to have conversation intelligently, not screaming and trying to, make somebody right or wrong, but And we understand passion gets involved when you're really involved, when you really feel strongly about something. But let's do it so that at the end of the day, we're moving one step closer to a solution, or we have a global connectedness that we can approach together. And that's because we got one planet, no matter what language, nationality, culture you are claiming or are a part of. And if this house called Earth goes, there's not enough ships yet, whether Elon Musk has it or I don't know. There's not enough of them yet to get us all off this planet.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, folks, we're not leaving the planet. We're sticking around. We're Minister Talk. We're going to be back next Friday. If you'd like to connect with us in between, by all means, send an email, ministertalk@ntmedia.org. And please do stick around the New Thought Media Network. It's Friday. We've always got a ton of great programming. We've got Top Mama coming up next with Laura Topper. The Morning Sip with Rev Melissa at 8:30. Don't forget prayers at 8:15. And also Rev Steph at 9. Heart of Peace meditation 9:30. And Rev Skip with In the Flow at 11 a.m. Wow. Z, have a great weekend. Good being with you, brother.
Yes, sir. And I'll be back in the sunny state of Colorado tonight.
Cool. We'll leave the sun on. We'll leave the lights on.
Yes, please do.
Till next time, folks. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.